Alright guys, we are back with another video. So this is going to be the assembling, remaking a complete engine again. So we're going to start with our main bearings. We're going to get these little valleys lubed up, get our main bearings put in. We will be getting a new crank right here in the box like I was shown in the last video. We're getting that cleaned off. It's got some protectant on it to keep it from rusting and everything. So we'll just hit it with a little bit of brake cleaner, get all that cleaned off, and we'll get the crank assembled, get the girdle and stuff put back on, get the main bearings on that as well, and then we will get everything flipped back over. Still got to get this guy cleaned out the best we can. I looked to see if I had an extra one. I don't think I do. I've looked and I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually going to pull this box right, or this tote right here, the gray one. That's got all my D-Series stuff in it. I'm gonna pull it, double check, make sure I don't have anything in there. I'm pretty sure I don't, but we're gonna look anyways. I thought this was gonna work, but they are just a tad bit different, and I'm not sure if it's going to affect anything. So this is actually a Z6 for this engine right here. I'm not doing anything with it right now, so I was going to use it, but I'm not 100% sure if that's with the, I mean, they're just a tad bit different. I ain't going to take any chances because this is a customer's car. So we are going to get the original one cleaned out the best we can. There was some shavings in it, but we'll get it all blown out. Should be good to go. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into this. So first two boxes we got is our main bearings, then our thrust washers. Well, we'll need these two first, and then we will assemble the crank. All right, so I do not have no assembly lube, so we're going to use some sweet tea. No, I'm just kidding. With some engine oil, some extra full synthetic 5W30 that I had from changing my wife's oil in the vehicle. So we are actually going to be using this to lube up right where we're going to be putting our bearings. All right, go ahead and get our main bearings installed. All right. So when you're installing your bearings, you'll see this little notch right here. There's a little indentation you'll see on the block, and it's straightforward. It just sits down in there. Make sure everything is nice and flush. You'll feel it lock in place. Be nice and snug. What, buddy? What? Yummy? You will have 5 of these on the block, and then 5 on your girdle, and that'll be after you install the crank. So we're doing the main bearings on the block first. That way we can move on to getting the crank cleaned off and getting it installed. So it should look something about like that. So get some fresh main bearings in. These are the notches I was talking about. And just in case you didn't know, on the girdle, so the notches actually on the girdle right here will be on the same side as the notches on the block, but it'll be on the opposite side. So notch on the block, notch on the girdle. Just in case you pull this off and you're not exactly sure which way it goes, because it will bolt up either way. I'm pretty positive, because it's literally just all dowel pins and bolt. Yeah. But also, actually no, I lied. It'll only go one way. So you got this big main dowel pin right here, and that'll actually go right into that spot on the block. Gotta work on my cameras. But yeah. So now we'll get this cleaned up. Which actually we're gonna hold off on that, because now we need to get the crank cleaned up, not the girdle. And this thing's heavy, so give me just a second. I'll set y'all up over here. All right. Go ahead and get this thing sprayed off with some brake cleaner. Get this coating off of it. And we can go ahead and get her put into the block. Should be good enough. What you got?
Nah.
What is that?
No.
Is that an apple? What is it?
Strawberry.
Strawberry? Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Alright. Now that the crank is cleaned off, me and Cam, right, we got the crank cleaned off. Now I want to take a little bit of oil. I'm going to put it on top of these bearings.
That's tea.
No, this ain't tea. That is tea over there. On Bubba's toolbox. This is oil. This is engine oil. I'm putting a little bit of oil on top of the bearings. On the top side.
Why you put it on your finger?
Because it's a lot easier for me to just rub it on there and then watch. So we get all of that on there. Yeah, it will. It's okay. Get it nice and lubed up. We'll set our oil back up here at the top.
Dada, I have a hole. Right here.
In your shirt? That'd be alright.
Don't move with it.
And now, make sure you got your crank.
I said higher.
Make sure you install your crank correctly. So everything on the pulley side will go just like so. First, we almost forgot. Brush washers. Gotta have these. You wanna know what these do? So these, look, come here. These, see this little groove right here? That little indentation? There. Let's see if I can make it show you a little bit better. See this little indentation? There's one right here, and then there's one on this side too.
Just read it like that so I can see.
Leave it like that so you can see? Okay. Well, we can do that until we get the crank put on there. Yeah, that's recording. Oh, you're talking about the crank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that other one was a little messed up, wasn't it?
No?
Alright.
Hi.
And we got a crank in there. Everything's nice and lubed up. Lubed up. Alright, now that we got the crank installed, thrush washers are in. So make sure when you do your thrush washers, the little notches are facing towards the block. Those are actually oil patches, so the notches will be on the inside, not the outside. The flat part is on the outside against the crank. Notches go against the block. So next thing to do is we're going to get our oil pump put on, and then we got to get this piece right here. This is your main seal, it's like your rear main seal. So this will actually go around the crank, and that seals up around here, and that keeps the oil from coming out. See, we got the new pump on. I laid down a little bit of black RVT gasket maker. That kind of helps seal it up. Don't forget, on the back side of your oil pump, there is a round O-ring. That O-ring goes in that little notch. Right here. Right where it feeds through the pump, there's an O-ring right there. As you can tell, this has been compressed and it's already old, but you'll have the O-ring there, and then as well as this gasket right here. That actually goes right here. That's for the pickup tube. or strainer, I guess is what you would call it, the oil strainer. So that's what that gasket's for. It's to keep all that sealed up. So what I'm working on now is, now that I got all this tightened up, do not forget to swap out, if you're doing a new pump, don't forget to swap out the 10 off of your old pump and put it right here on your new pump, because that 10 millimeter that is right here, that actually holds on your crank position sensor. What I'm going to do now, I got to get all this cleaned up. I don't have to, but I'm going to. I'm going to take some pliers, break this rear main seal out of the housing. Then once I get this broke out, I'll go over to the water hose and I'll scrub this down with some super clean and use an old toothbrush, kind of get in there, kind of clean it up a little bit, take a straight blade and get all this extra gasket from the oil pan, and then all of this extra gasket right here on the back side that you see all built up. Clean it up a little bit and then we'll get the new one in. Just like that. Got it about as clean as it's gonna get. Take a straight blade, got all the excess gasket off. So it should be ready to be sealed back up. I'll put a little bit of oil around the housing right there. And then I want to do the same for the seal. Put a little bit of oil, a little lubricant. Get that slide on there a little bit easier, and then we'll just tap it around with a rubber mallet on a flat surface. And it should be ready to seal up a little bit on the back side, along through here, all the way up to there. Just run a little bit of gasket maker, and it'll seal all that up. And then the seal itself will actually seal up around, like I said, around the crank. It'll be something similar like that. In case you are unfamiliar. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get this guy set in there, and we'll get that side mounted up, and we can start putting some rods and pistons in. I took a 2-inch or a 3-inch extension. I just grabbed a short extension for a 3/8, and this is what I was using, this hammer right here. And then you just slowly work yourself around, just tapping it in a circular motion, like start here, and then go over to here, and over to here, and just kind of working your way around until you get to where it's actually seated all the way up with that lip. As you can tell, it's all the way flush, all the way around. And once you get that, then it's done. I mean, it'll be fully seated. So now we can go ahead and get our gasket maker on there and get this bad boy sealed up. Got that piece down there. Everything's tightened up. Good to go. Good to go. So now we can start assembling some rods and pistons. So I got a new set of pistons. They're right here. They're just a regular standard size. New O-rings and everything else. These are Nippon pistons. Same company that done the crank. Getting close to having a complete short block. Getting there nice and clean. So hopefully he really appreciates the time and dedication I'm putting into this thing, because I'm treating it as if this was my own engine. Same thing I was in the process of doing with this. I just haven't bought any extra parts and stuff. I mean, I got some ARP head studs over there. I got that new head gasket right there, but probably not gonna run that gasket. I'm just gonna order a cosmetic gasket and get rid of all that, because you already know we ain't running this. It's just sitting up there just to look cool. I don't even know how I ended up with that anyways. I think it was just gave to me. But yeah, so we're getting there. Go ahead and I'm gonna get everything laid out that we're gonna be messing with in this next process. So we'll be needing pistons, this rod, and then our rings and stuff are inside there as well. This is our water pump. We'll get that put on here in a minute. This is our rod burns. We will be needing these here shortly. So yeah, let's go ahead and get all this stuff knocked out. Next step. One down. 3 more to go. So this one's ready to go in. Alright guys, so it's been a few days since I've actually worked on this thing. So as of yesterday, I was on the phone with my buddy Chris in Florida. While I was on the phone with him, I decided to go ahead and gap his rings off camera. There's plenty of videos on gapping rings and stuff. This is nothing too crazy. It's not no turbo build, so we didn't go too fat with them. Just kind of kept them in spec. There's some of the tolerance I kind of done, so I kind of hit the middle point in between for the top. Didn't do the oil rings. I done the oil ring just a little bit. These 2 oil rings, not the skirt, but the 2 oil rings itself. I followed those just a very tad little bit, because when I set them in here, they were actually touching, and I wanted to give them just a tad bit of gap. So on the 2 compression rings on the top compression, I think I done it was like 0.08 or 0.08, 0.010, something like that. It's about where I kept them. And then on the second compression ring, I try to find that middle point around 0.015. So that's where I ran those as far as the specs on these, because it's just an OEM NA setup, and just everything's just standard. So I ordered these new, used but newer rods, because 1 and 4, the rod was bent, and there was no getting them wrist pins out anyway. So I went ahead and ordered these, because these pistons came with new wrist pins. Put all the wrist pins in the freezer so they can shrink up. So I let them sit in there for a couple days. And yesterday I got 3 of them done, and I ran out of time to do the last one. So earlier this morning, when I got home from work, my wife helped me get this last one done. So she was holding the pistons while I would now I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there. I know exactly what you were thinking, and yes, I almost said it, but we're going to keep it a little PG-13. Put the rod in there after I heated the inside up right here, this little sleeve where the wrist pin slides into. I heated that up with my torch right there. And then I would get into the freezer, and I had a pair of gloves on, and I would get into the freezer, get the wrist pin, hurry up and slide them through and try to make them as easy as I can. Food done?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, the rings are done. They're all gapped. They're installed. So all we got left to do now is to get these rods and pistons in here and get the rod bearings on the rod side, slide them in, and then we can get the rotating and get everything else, and then we can install our last 4 main bearings into the girdle. So should have right here. So this will be next. Alright, so I gotta take a little pause there. Gotta get ready for work, unfortunately. So, we made a little bit of progress today. We got, like I said, got all the pistons and rings, everything assembled, rods on the pistons, all that good stuff. We done number 1, number 4 cylinder. These are just hand tight, so I will leave myself a note to remind myself to get those torqued to spec. But so far, looking pretty good. So I'll go ahead and get this spun around. There we go. So we got number 1 and number 4. So make sure when you're doing this, you got your rods and pistons together and you're getting ready to assemble them. IN, for those that don't know, I know it's kind of like dumbing down the video, but there's a lot of people that don't know that. IN is on the intake side. So those are your intake ports for the intake notches for your intake valves. That's why they're just a tad bit bigger. And then the arrows, everything's facing that way towards the crank, or the crank pulley. So that's how it's supposed to be. So everything starts from the distributor and works its way over to the crank pulley. And when you are assembling your rods and pistons, these little notches right here, that little notch right there, obviously it's for your bearing. It's got a little notch as well. There you go, you can see that right there. That helps lock it in. And if you ever pull these apart and you get them kind of unorganized and not sure exactly which way it goes, it does matter. So this, on the cap, the rod bearing cap, you got a little notch here as well. So you take your notch like that. It's pretty hard to do. Anyways, your notch is right here. And then your notch for your cap goes on the same side. So it'll be like that. You got a notch here, notch here. So that's the correct way of doing it if you are doing this process. But as you heard from my wife, it is 6:03. I got to leave in 7 minutes. So we will pick back up where we left off. We got these two, like I said, installed, 1 and 4. We'll get 3 and 2 installed as well, and then we'll come back through and we'll torque everything down. But as of right now, I'm at the road, so I will see you all in about 24 hours. Just like that, we are back. So we'll go ahead and get 2 and 3 put in. Start with 2 first. Get everything with the rings compressed. And then get these bad boys installed. So enjoy this next section of the time lapse. Alright, there goes the last rod bearing, or the last rod cap. I just been using some fresh 5W30 oil as a lubricant. Get all these caps lubricated and burns. And our last burn, brand new, baby. A little rub-a-dub-dub scrub on. Boy, I'm tired. I don't get no sleep. Alright. Notch. Match the notch. Always making sure. And voila. She can get her nuts put on her. There we go. Now we can actually get this bad boy fully torqued down. So we'll get her, I think it's 12. Most certainly is. Most certainly is, boy. Now the torque wrench out and get these get these torque to spec. Y'all know what the spec is this, cause I don't know. It's 23 foot-pound torque, 23 on the dime. I need a new torque wrench. I lost my little nut on the back side that locks it, so yeah, I can't touch it right there. But we'll leave her at 23. Yeah, come on down here. Check her out. Oh my goodness. I'm mainly just wiping any debris off. I get stuff right there. A little bit of metal shaving right there. Honestly, this thing needs to be sprayed out. That's what it needs. That's exactly what it's gonna get. Watch this. So what I want to do is I want to spray inside of here. Yeah, I want to spray inside of here. Try to see if I can get anything that I possibly can out. So I guarantee you, somewhere inside of here, possibly even in here, in this section, there's probably material, like right in here. So we're gonna spray in here, and spray in here as well. I'm gonna try to do it without taking these caps off, because I'm not sure if they'll seal up with some RVT, but we're gonna clean it right now. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry I left you up there, but check it out. This stuff's actually like penetrating very, very well. It's getting all that old burnt oil residue off. Which I'm super clean. Super clean. Alright, so I got the girdle laid up here. I got my motor oil. There's the main bearings, and then got our strainer right here. I got this cleaned out the best I can with a air nozzle and some degreaser and water, and yeah, I've just been scrubbing and blowing with it, blowing with the air and trying to get everything pushed out. I've even used this pick to get up in there with paper towel and get all that we need to do. Pretty fairly clean. Like I'm happy enough to throw it back in there. It's like, to me, we'll be closing up this short block. So there's a lot of cleaning I gotta do to that oil pan. I don't know if it'd be best for me to go ahead and find another one or just get that one cleaned out. I mean, I could probably do some real deep scrubbing and cleaning. So I'll probably try to save that, because I like to clean that on the inside and the outside. I'll spray it down with some degreaser. I'll let it soak, and I'll hit it with a pressure washer, because I'm pretty sure the little baffle, the baffle inside there unbolts, so we can actually get up down in there and get that really cleaned out. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw you guys on a time lapse, because I don't want this video to be too crazy long. And we'll go ahead and see if we can't finish wrapping everything up and get us a complete short block, minus obviously the oil pan, because I gotta get that cleaned up. All right, guys, I have been very busy today. So what we got done is, pretty sure where we left off was getting the pistons and stuff installed, pistons and rods. Everything is completely assembled now, even the underneath. Got the oil pan completely cleared up. Got all the shavings and stuff out of it, out of the strainer. I got all the shavings out. Like, I pulled the baffle out of it and just completely cleaned this entire the oil pan from inside to out. And we got our that little RVT set up right there. But so everything's all dried up. I thought that was the gasket, but it's not. So we got fresh gasket on, got a little RVT all the way around it to help hold it in place. Got that bolted down, torque to spec. Yes, I did torque the oil pan bolts to spec. There's 9 foot-pounds. Got the oil pump gear on, the crank position sensor. I went blank for a second. Got the new tensioner, all the spring stuff on. Got the new belt, and then we got these head studs put in. So I actually had to order these. I kind of tossed the head bolts that did come out of it. I didn't want to reuse them, and I didn't think nothing about it, but I didn't order anything. So next day shipped these studs. Got them tightened down by hand, and we just got to do our washers and then the nuts, and then we'll do that after we get the head put on. So got the head sitting over here. Went ahead and pulled the VTEC solenoid off. Got that gasket pulled out because it had a bunch of metal shaving stuff in it, and got the head pretty much flushed out. I'm getting ready to take it to the driveway over here and set it up. I want to hit it with some brake cleaner, make sure all the material and stuff and debris is completely out of the head, and then it should be ready to go on. But yeah, other than that, that's what we got. So yeah, it's a complete short block ready for the head being mounted. All right, I got everything pretty much back together. Done majority of it off camera. The head is completely torqued down. It's ready to go. Went ahead and got these timing covers cleaned up as well, make it a little bit more presentable. Everything is pretty much ready to go. Get the cover pulled off, like I said. I want to get it down on the ground, off the jacks or off the engine hoist, the stand. Cannot talk today. And get this thing ready to be mated up to it. So I got all the hardware and stuff still over there off to the side. And go ahead and get these out. And then we'll get this slid out, and then we'll get everything mated back up together, because you gotta put the pressure plate, and well, not really pressure plate, the flex plate. This guy right here, gotta get that put back on, and then get the torque converter put back on. Little odds and ends, the torque mount and stuff over here for the idler on the AC compressor and power steering, all that good stuff. And then get all the belt stuff put on. So I'm assuming the smaller one goes to the AC, and there's a big one right here that goes around the power steering. But I'll get all that figured out. Got the alternator already on, belts on, tightened up. And then we can focus on getting the engine bay kind of sprayed off and cleaned up a little bit while we're already at this point. So all that will be in the next video. So if you guys have enjoyed this series so far, please leave a like on this video. Go check out the other videos as well. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. So we got some more stuff coming soon. Should be starting in this GSR, like I have mentioned before in previous videos, on the orange hatch. It's still right here covered up. Got a bunch of stuff we have collected and set back. It's getting to the point where we're almost ready to start working on it. Purple hatch is doing good so far. Took it to a couple meets. Took it to a meet. 2 test drives. So the drive to the meet done great. Temp stayed what it should, oil pressure and all that. Everything's working out good on it. So I just need to get the alignment straightened out on it. And I should be ready to do an oil change and go hit the dyno. Take us some plugs and a couple other odds and ends with us. See if we can make some power. And yeah, be able to hit the track, see what we can run. Be able to take his car out and enjoy it. But it's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hopefully, we'll see y'all on the next one. And I'm out. Peace.